Hello, everyone. My name's Dee Twentyman, and welcome to Global Light TV. As a founding member of BUMP, I have the privilege of bringing non-BUMP members into ENTV, people who are truly global lights. And we're here to celebrate and showcase their amazing impact on the world and the people they help. So I would love you all to please welcome Louise Richardson to ENTV today. How are you, Louise? How are you doing?
Thank you. No, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time. So
Yeah.
yes, but we're like we said earlier, we are still connected on Facebook and we still see each other's stuff. So that's really good of Facebook, isn't it? To let
Yes.
us
Yeah. Yeah.
know. So first of all, Louise, can you tell people on ENTV who are watching live or on replay what it is that lights you up, what it is that got you to do what you're doing now? You know, the kind of a little bit about your journey and your story.
Well, I started off in pathology, funnily enough, years ago, and then we moved with my husband's work to Leicester, and I had to change tack and went into education. I have a family, and I have six granddaughters that keep me very busy, but I had a serious illness, and it really put, the cat amongst the pigeons, lost my job, etc., etc. I now have a much brighter life, I feel. I'm a theta healing practitioner. I'm a counsellor. I'm also a counsellor in the local authority side of things, working with health and well-being across the county. And the illness brought about me becoming an artist, an author, and running my own charity. So I have quite a fulfilling life helping others. So that's where my heart lies, helping others to help themselves and to progress. I've lost your,
Oh, there we go.
that's it.
Yeah, having an illness can actually really, you know, crystallize where we want to be in life, doesn't it? And what we want to be doing and achieving. So what is it that took you into after you did all of that? What was the catalyst for you that took you into what you're physically doing now?
Well, I literally shut down. I was totally, I couldn't walk. I couldn't, my brain wouldn't work, nothing. I was virtually sleeping for about 5 years. But it made me, when I started getting better, I started thinking about what I would do if I got my mobility and everything back. One of those was to volunteer abroad, because when I was younger, we didn't have that opportunity like university students have now. So I took off to Tanzania for 3.5 weeks, putting the fear of God into my family because they were worried about me getting sick over there. But when I saw what was happening, I just had to do something. I mean, these people are in survival mode every day of their lives. So whatever little we can do makes a big, big difference to them.
So your charity, tell us a little bit more about what you do there, how you help.
We tend to work mainly in the Maasai areas. That's the rural areas of Tanzania. We do water projects, sanitation, health and education. If we can help them because they don't have access to hospitals and doctors out in the bush, if we can help them understand how to look after themselves, we can give them clean and sustainable water. We're doing a lot to an education, obviously, for the youngsters. We're actually helping them a lot to be self-sufficient in a way and to help themselves until they can get the help they need. So, yeah, there's an awful lot of work needs doing out there. They don't have the same benefit system as we do. We try and support people having difficulties out there. It's hand to mouth, and the vast majority are not employed.
So do you go to Tanzania regularly now then?
Yes, I tend to be out there 3, 4 times a year. I try and get a month if I can. That's been a bit. It was stopped obviously through COVID, and then with my portfolio now at county, I have to, work it around that and work out there while I'm there. So, yeah, it takes a bit of jigging around, but we get there.
So, what's the name of your charity? Tell us a little bit more about it. How do you actually physically help other than the water? What else? What things do you do to actually raise
Yeah.
funds for the
Well,
project?
we're called To Mine Egyptian New Hope, and we're registered in UK as well as Tanzania. So that means I have trustees here, and I also have a board of trustees there. Um, we do the normal sorts of trying to raise funds here. We've done some big projects. We did do a £3.5 million project with the UK government, Water Aid, and we worked out there with the communities. And then we've taken health programs into the rural areas, educating children in schools and the parents and adults around, on various things, various illnesses, diseases, first aid, bleeding, nutrition, all of those things that, if you have more of an understanding about, you can look after yourselves far better.
Mm, definitely. I know what you mean. And there's so many other countries around the world, isn't there, with very similar situations going on, isn't there?
There is. I mean, I think that's the sad part, really. You've got to, I think so many times people pump money in but don't do the educating and training for them. They need to take ownership of these projects, is the way we work. We give them ownership to give them pride, to give them the ability to then expand. And, so we put in the expensive stuff they can't do themselves. And then they can act. So, for example, the water project, we put that system in. It's got reverse osmosis plants and everything to take all the fluoride out of the water because they're volcanic rocks underneath. But then they can pay the small amount to connect it to their homes. So it's, that way they're given their pride and they don't feel that they're being done to or given, they're part of it. And I
Yeah.
think that's really, really important for people.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. When we've got that, when we feel some sense of ownership and control, then we can do so much more, can't we?
Yeah. And I think that's come from my work as well with theta. It's again, it's just helping people to get on the right side of things, being able to, get over the hurdle and to be able to move on under their own steam and to give them that ability to do that, because so often we're knocked back by things that happen to us, and it can be overwhelming and it can cause us to go into depression or anxiety or stress. I mean, we've just had a letter come out from Dodoma, one of the Dodoma hospitals today, talking about the sudden death, of youngsters because they're getting so stressed, so depressed about what's happening to them, and they don't see a way out. So it's important that we support each other.
Definitely. I mean, I actually use theta brainwave in my hypnotherapy work with
Yeah,
clients.
yeah,
So, can you tell people a little bit more about how you work with theta healing?
yeah. I mean, I liken it to if you get a bug in your computer system. So you go, you the client comes and they just relax. They go into close their eyes. They're in a. It's to link to the subconscious part of the brain, and you dig down as you would through a computer by asking questions, just a yes, no, whatever. And you try to get to the real root and you pull that out and you give them beliefs, patterns that actually will help them and serve them now. Too often we hold things in our subconscious that we think we've dealt with in our conscious thoughts. But when you go into a similar situation, it all plays out again and it brings up all those things from the past and it holds us back.
Yeah, it's all those the limiting beliefs that we
Yeah,
hold, and then
yeah,
we build behavior patterns around it, don't we?
yes. And they are so stubborn, but they hold us in that past. And we want to be moving forward and we want to be using the beliefs that really will trigger us being able to bring about what we truly love in life.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's the body is very, very clever, isn't it? The mind and the body is very clever at keeping you in a place that it feels where the comfort is, but the comfort's actually quite uncomfortable. It doesn't realize there's other things happening that actually are causing you more issues than moving you forward.
Yeah, yeah. And it's only when you start working with those, I think, that you truly find your path almost. My illness put me on a totally different trajectory, but I know I'm on the right path and I know I'm doing the things that I should be doing. And I feel very certain of that.
Yeah. So when you what was it that told you that you are actually on the right path? What feeling
Funnily,
or
funnily enough, it was, I mean, you and I did a course called the Transformation, which worked on belief patterns, etc. At the same time, I went for theta because I had 10 doctors and consultants in 1 year, couldn't decide what was wrong with me. So I was searching for all sorts of other ways of trying to find out, trying to get out of the situation I was in. And so I've just lost my thread of thought, Dee. Can you just remind me what you asked me? Sorry.
yeah, what was it that actually made you realize that you were on the
Yeah.
right path?
And I think it was because both those things diverged and they were on the same path. And I could see how things were changing in my life. I mean, I was so different after my illness. I was more confident, funnily enough, having got over the initial, I can't do anything. But I think also you just feel inside yourself that what you're doing is really important and really helping others. I've always been that way in life anyway, but this way gave me tools that I could make that big impact that I couldn't before.
Mm. So that so not it was a kind of a two-pronged thing then, that the coming out of the illness and then that transformation course that taught you a lot about what was
Mm.
happening in your own life that may have contributed to your illness. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think also it was really strange because coming out of my illness, I'd found once I could read and write again, I had started putting feelings down in poetry. And what also struck me was that it automatically fell into chapters. It automatically fell into me, moving into my greatness. And so it's called The Greatness Within. But it just fell into, I didn't have to work on it. It just absolutely fell in line as I'd been coming through that illness. And I had just been, you know, doing something to keep me occupied. And I just thought, well, that's another thing that's come to me. It's not me thinking, oh, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It was there. And I just thought that's just emphasizing and giving me that what do I want to say? Confirmation.
Yeah, yeah. It's a validation, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
that's where you're at. That's where you're at. And would you say that there was a lot of trust as you unfolded in that you were on the right path? Were you just walking in trust and faith that you were getting out of it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, initially, I fought against it, as a lot of people do when they get ill. You try and fight because you don't want to be in that position. It was only when I accepted it that I could then start moving forward. And I think everything I did just seemed to fall in line and be just felt completely right. I didn't have to, it sounds strange, but I didn't have to think about it. I was open enough to allow it in, to allow it to come to me.
Mm.
I think sometimes when we fight against things, we make it very uncomfortable for ourselves and we don't realize that there's something better waiting around the corner.
That's true, isn't it? Because we're
Mm.
taught to fight, aren't we? In the society we've been brought up in, we're
Yeah,
taught we've got to fight pain, we've got to fight illness, we've got to battle cancer, we've got to battle this, and actually that creates more tension, doesn't it, around us,
yeah,
and more tension in our body, in our mind, and that can actually block the movement, the flow of energy. I
yeah,
think. Yeah,
yeah, yes. And I think that's why so many people do feel stuck because they don't know about these things necessarily until they get sick or they've got a problem. And it's whether you are, I suppose, in some ways, brave enough to try different things because sometimes we get stuck with, well, this is the way it should be. And actually, we're limiting ourselves then to what we can truly achieve and be in ourselves.
yeah, it's true. We've got to allow. We've got to be. Um, Somebody once said it's about surrendering to what is and then allowing what is to come,
Yeah,
which is it's going to help you to heal and
yeah.
it's going to help you to feel more relaxed and comfortable. So it's wonderful, wonderful stuff that you do. And how can people get in touch with you, Louise, to actually find out a lot more about what it is you do? If they want to get in touch with your charities, if they want to get in touch with the work that you do to help themselves, how do you get in touch?
Well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, etc. But you can always use my email hlr88@hotmail.com for anything. I've got a website up for my theta, etc. But for general inquiries, just come through on that email. That'll be fine, or on Messenger or whatever. I don't mind.
Okay. So, would you like to put a few links in to the
Yes, I will do. Yeah,
if people aren't friends on Facebook with you, you might not get
yeah,
messages, but if you put it in here,
yeah.
and please feel free to now that you're in the group to press the invite button and invite your friends in to see what you've done today so that they can see that, and then you'll be able to add it to your own Facebook profile so people can see your interview and you know find out a little bit more, because we know what the algorithms are like. It doesn't show our stuff to all our followers, does it? So
No,
at least if you can get it onto your profile somehow, then we'll be able to get more people to see what you're doing, Louise. So
brilliant.
I just want to say to the audience as well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, please put your comments in for Louise or any questions you might have for her. She's in the group, so she'll be able to see them and be able to get in touch with you and connect. And also, just thank you once again, Louise, for being here today. Final thoughts before we leave. What would be your final words of wisdom for people who are in a position maybe that similar to what you were in, or something like that can give them a bit of hope and inspiration?
I think accept where you are now, reach out to others, and to focus on what you truly love in life and what you truly want to be in your life. take the opportunity to have that review. That's what gave me a much better life going forward and much more fulfilling life.
Lovely. Great thing to end on. Thank you very much, Louise, for being here. I'm going to end the live stream and we will have a little chat. Thank you.
Thank you.